Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
And I'm the co-host, Pastor Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is, my friends. Always good to be in your presence.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Doing good, and we've got a great show lined up for today.
Yeah, we have one of the premier realtors in our city.
And she's a sponsor.
And yeah, she's a sponsor. That's what makes her premier.
Yeah.
Not only her work, but I mean to be able to sponsor such a great show like this.
Absolutely.
That's major.
And if you could, Dr. Moore, give us the rundown on the rest of our sponsors.
Yeah, our sponsors, well, Tamiko and Associates, Lavinia and Summers, Home of Funerals. We have Marion County Public Health Department, been with us from day one. We have Lee Cussell and Crawley, has been with us from day one. We have Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes. If you need to get ready for Easter in the future, let's make sure you go to Al and he'll make it happen. Not only that, Northside Window and Gutter Cleaning, doing a fantastic job. Done some work for Fervent Prayer.
Yeah.
And then Fervent Prayer Christian Academy and His Place Eatery. We're supposed to be doing a on-scene, on-shot eating and over there one day.
Yeah, Curtis is working on that for us.
Yeah, it's about 6 months spent. Yeah. Yeah.
We're glad that you've joined us on today. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, WHMB TV 40, where you can watch this show when it's over, as well as some shows that you might have missed. And
like us on Facebook. We're there for you.
And we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we want to get right to it. We're joined by the CEO of Tamiko and Associates Realty Group. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It is such a pleasure and an honor, and it's also a pleasure to be able to sponsor you guys. It's exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And you look gorgeous today, doesn't you?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
all
you.
the time, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It really
I
is.
think Mary J. Blige, she wrote that song particularly for you.
Oh,
Good morning.
that's so
Oh, my
kind.
goodness.
I love that song. Love that song.
So since last you were here, you were kind of just getting started, and this new venture, of course, you've done a lot of things, and you're certainly not new to television. So how's it going so far?
It is amazing in the midst of a pandemic. Well, we're on the other side of it now, but a lot has changed. I think when I was here before, I was just starting a team of 5 agents, and they did amazing last year. We had a phenomenal year. We ended the year top 1% of my board, which is all the agents in the state of Indiana. The #1 sales and transactions in our Fishers and Geis office, and that's a big statement. And we did 101 transactions with a team of 5 and over 23 million in sales. So we had an amazing, blessed year.
And the Fisher area is booming with new construction, am I right?
It is, absolutely.
Are you selling
all
most of those
sorts.
homes? Are you selling any of those, or just you're not connected with any builder right now?
No, not specifically, but I do have, like we had several new builds last year. We do have a couple of them in the works now, but it's not primarily my market. But you're right, not only in Fishers and a lot of the other areas as well, but it is booming, big time.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they can't find enough pre-existing. You know, the market is really crazy right now, really challenging. And so a lot of people are going towards the new builds because with putting in an offer on an existing home, you're doing $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 over asking price.
Right.
And so they're like, you know what, let's just go in new build. But even that, the prices, every 2 weeks, the prices on new builds are growing.
Is that an area, Tamiko, that you're planning to get into? I know you're in traditional real estate right now. I hope that's the right term to use. Are you going to add that in the future, new builds?
Well, I enjoy doing new builds, and I've done new builds since I've started, but new builds, a lot of the new build businesses right now, they're not necessarily embracing the agents as they were before.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to. So if they don't give us a commission, then it's difficult for us to take the time and the effort to put into it because we're not getting paid for it. So whereas before the builders were welcoming the agents to come in, bring your clients, promote us, advertise, help us, but now they're saying we don't need the realtors.
Right.
So they're bringing our commission down lower and lower and lower, but we're still showing up, helping our clients, and doing what we need to do.
And you represented my daughter.
Yes.
Selling her home.
I did.
And there's a sign on top that says sold in one day.
Yes.
And you all are putting a lot of those out,
Yeah.
which is indicative, I think, of how hot the market is for
Yeah.
sellers. How important is it to have a realtor? Some people say, well, I don't want to have to spend that money.
Yeah.
I want to keep my money, so I'm going to get one of those for sale by owner signs.
Yes.
Why is it
yes.
so important to have a realtor?
Great question, Pastor Jackson, because that is a good thought. It's like if we're selling one day, why should I pay a realtor? Well, because there's so much at stake. You have to negotiate not only the cost. When you have a realtor, you can primarily get a lot more than you would if you were for sale by owner, because we're marketing, we're putting it out there, which brings more visibility, more clients, and more offers.
More traffic. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
more traffic. And so when I ask to list a home, I'm pretty much guaranteed I'm going to get you more than you would if you sold it yourself, just by marketing and advertising. But the other part of that is it doesn't just stop there, because you have to negotiate the inspection items. You got to negotiate the appraisal gap. And so you got to get them to the closing table. So there's so much that an owner just can't do by himself. You know, we have the skills to be able to help in getting everything through to the closing table and still be able to keep and make that money. But here's the thing that's scary. There's a lot of companies out there right now that are contacting and saying, I'll just offer you so much money to sell your house. You don't have to go through a realtor, just pay us. We'll charge you this fee and we'll take care of it for you. Legitimate companies. However, you're leaving money on the table when you do that, because you're not giving the people the opportunity to dictate how much you're going to get for your house. You're telling that company, okay, if you say $345, oh, that sounds good. I thought it was worth $300. $345 deal. No, how about we put it out there and we let the people determine how much? Because it's probably going to be more like $385, because those same companies that are buying your house within a matter of 30 to 60 days are putting it right back out there and are getting a lot more.
Investment corporations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's coming 19 to 20% in the state of Indiana right now.
Yeah.
Have infected the housing market.
Oh my God, and that's scary too, because we have a lot of investors who are coming in with cash from other countries, other states, and so now we have first-time homeowners who have been working to get their credit where it needs to be and to get in a position to get pre-approved, but they can't compete because you have investors saying, I'm going to give you $220 cash, instead of this homeowner coming saying, hey, I'm a pre-approved for $200,000, yes. And so now we really have to educate our sellers. And we understand it's about making money and all that, but we are also creating a culture. You know, we got to identify what are we doing to our neighborhoods, our community, the people who are, homeowners, because the investors, most of them are getting the home, turning around, and then renting it back out for extreme amounts.
Minimum maintenance.
Yeah.
And turning them right back out.
Very minimum maintenance. I've done it. I mean, I've seen where we've sold a house to an investor because the buyer or the seller wanted to sell immediately and didn't want to make any repairs. So that was the best course for that particular home. 30 days rent, and the rent was crazy amount. So yeah, we have to, I think, as realtors and as sellers, really be mindful as to what we're doing overall to our society and everything involved, because whatever we're doing right now is impacting our future. And it's bigger than the dollars, really.
So if it's a seller's market, it seems to be anyway,
Yes, it is.
is it still a good time to buy?
Yes, it is. It's still a good time to buy. Now, here's the thing. The interest rates are going up. We've gotten spoiled with interest rates being under 2%, 3%, low threes. Well, they are going up. They're in the fours now, and some even 5, depending on what kind of program you have. But it's still better than renting, because when you're renting, you're throwing that money away, you're giving that money away, you're not paying yourself. So it's still a good time to actually purchase and invest in yourself.
All right, we got to take a quick break.
Okay.
We're enjoying all this information.
All right.
I hope you are too. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with realtor and pastor and just so many different hats she wears. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. All right, welcome back to Real People, Real Voices, and we're joined by CEO of Tamiko and Associates Realty Group, burning up the charts, if you will. And those of you who are watching, I think that you would greatly benefit from having Tamiko as your realtor. Some of the things that we didn't talk about, Tamiko has shown phenomenal success as a qualified FC Tucker's President's Club. With written production of over 10 million in only her second year of serving in this profession, and closing out her third year with over 23 million in sales. During her third year, she also developed and trained a team of 5 new agents, which she mentioned, and achieved both president's and platinum status, and finished out the year in the top 1% of MyBoard agents in the state of Indiana, and served in the military. And you're helping military folks leave the closing with money in their pocket. How are you doing that?
You know, I am that military person that always asks for a military discount. Like, I believe everyone should get a military discount because they served, right? And so how could I think that and not give it? And so what I do is, for every veteran that I have, whether they're active and whether they're veteran, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Coast Guard, doesn't matter, as long as they serve. But I give them 20% of my commission. So whatever I make on the deal, whether it's selling or buying, I give them 20% of my commission. So they are guaranteed to leave with a check.
Tamiko, what about ROTC?
Not
I just
quite.
thought I'd better throw that one in. You know, I served.
We can work out something.
Were you
though.
honorably discharged?
My goodness.
Yeah.
But that's phenomenal to even be moved to help veterans like that. I mean, veterans have so much to contend with. And
Yes.
when it comes to the housing market right now, there is studying it, there is an issue for veterans.
Yeah.
Housing is an issue for veterans, especially disabled veterans.
And not only that, Pastor, but the other issue is, when you go to put an offer in on a home, people are not supposed to be selective, but they are as it relates to the sellers and the selling agents. And sometimes what happens is the veteran's offer is not as favorable, not because of the money amount or anything like that, but it's because VA is a little more difficult or a little more stringent as it relates to the appraisal.
Right.
They're taking care of what he's taking care of. And so that causes a concern sometimes. And so it's not as easy for a veteran to get their offer accepted. Not all the time, but sometimes there is a challenge there. So, and it shouldn't be, because they should be the ones getting priority, I believe.
And then there's some other major institutions, lending institutions, that are creating some horrific guidelines. Am I right about that?
Yeah. So it's challenging everywhere we go right about now,
So recently you spoke at a Celebrating Diversity event.
Yes.
And it's interesting, among realtors, as I understand it.
Yes.
Why would there need to be something like that?
You know, I think what they wanted to do is, because they invited different realtors from different companies, and I think they really wanted to bring awareness to just different concerns or different challenges, or even just experiences that we have as realtors. Primarily, that was for like new and upcoming realtors, just to kind of give them motivation and encouragement and things to kind of keep an eye out on as it relates to that. Because we do need to be mindful that we are living in that culture where some people still have some mindsets, and I think what's most important is our mindset. Showing up at the table or showing up in the situation, knowing that you're well able and qualified for the job.
So along with that, if you're a black homeowner and you want to get a good appraisal, because we've had some problems with getting fair appraisals, what would be your advice to black homeowners to make sure they get the best numbers as far as an appraisal is concerned?
Yeah, and I personally haven't had those type of challenges, but they are there. We've seen it on the news, we've seen it in different situations, and I always tell all of my homeowners, all of my sellers to take everything down that's showing any type of who you are so that there's no bias there. And then I always make sure that we are comping the property properly based upon what the value of the home is. And then when that appraisal does come back, if it is low, you need to make sure you have an agent that can fight that, because it's all in the evidence, it's all in the proof, it's all in the numbers. If we can show the numbers, we shouldn't have that. And if we have that, then that's a concern.
It is sad that you have to teach those who are selling homes to whitewash their homes.
Yeah, yeah,
To get a fair appraisal now.
yeah.
And I think that is contributed to the appraisal business. And the new system, it's not a new system, but it's a renamed system, the gerrymandering ideology. When they're bringing new people are selling homes, and then people are coming in, reselling them, and et cetera.
Yeah.
And these appraisals are very important. And the discrimination within an appraisal is just devastating for the family wealth, for family wealth.
Absolutely.
And you got to have a realtor, and I think you give us the impression right here that you're one of those type of realtors that's going to fight for the right appraisal.
And that's big. That's big in the appraisal area. That's big in the inspections. It's big when you're even agent to agent.
Yeah.
Because some agents won't take you seriously.
Right.
You know, and you have to be able to have not only the fight, but the negotiating skills to be able to, you know, have a thought, have the evidence behind it, and be able to just really stand firm and say, we're not going to accept anything less than what we are, you know, qualified.
Especially if I
for.
have the comps.
Yeah, if I have it all, if I have the numbers,
What's the
you
problem?
know, absolutely.
Wow. And you're wearing your President's Club badge?
I am.
That's cool. How many folks are able to get to that point? Is it unlimited number or?
It is. The requirement is that you actually do 10 million in sales. 5
Every
million,
year?
Yeah, every year. Yeah, and then they have like a lifelong President's Club as well. But it just depends on your sales. Yeah. So it's more like 10 million if you have a team, 5 million if you're individual.
So we've got a couple of minutes left. Maybe some folks are watching and they want to be realtors. What would be your elevator speech for somebody who says, "Hey, I want to be a realtor"?
Absolutely. I think it's a great market to be a realtor, even in the midst of what we're dealing with. It's very rewarding. Financially, it's great. However, you need to make sure that you're ready for it. And when I say that, when you manage your expectations. So if you're looking to become a realtor, you got to make sure that you're prepared financially for the initial phase of it, because it may take quite a while to start making money to bring in that income. So make sure that you're not pressuring yourself by not being ready. So I would say have about 6 months saved up of income so that you can just go into it, learn, be able to focus, and then maximize all the values that you have to bring to the table. I would say get a really, really good opportunity to interview all the companies that you may be interested in, be a part of a great team, acquire a mentor, and then just enjoy the journey. And allow yourself to stand out, because there's a lot of realtors out here right now. So you have to make sure that you're allowing yourself to stand out by being authentic.
Outstanding. And of course, Chick-fil-A, when you take on one of their stores, they want you to only do that. Is that kind of what you would advise up-and-coming realtors?
Yeah.
To just do that?
Absolutely. You need to be able to do it full time in order to really reap the benefit of being a realtor. Things are changing too quickly. The clients are not as patient as they used to be. You need to be available and accessible. And so doing it full time will help you do that. And again, the reward is great as it relates to financially. You're not going to make as much. People think we'll just make a lot of money, but you don't do that if you're only doing it part time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cost to being a realtor.
All right. Well, you've been a great guest.
Thank you.
All the best to you. And by the time you come back, you'll be in the $100 million club.
I received that. 100%.
You heard it from the prophet.
That's right.
And you'll hear just a little bit more during the rundown. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
And I'm Curtis Baker, your producer.
Wonderful 2 segments there with Tamiko.
I think she's doing an extremely great job in helping people to become first-time homeowners, not only first-time homeowners, but at the same token to be able to push the real estate market through others who are trying to sell their homes. I think she's doing a great job. $23 million in less than 3 years is tremendous real estate work. Yeah. And she has a great enthusiasm about it, and she's going to continue to do well.
Yeah, you know, the gifts are transferable.
Yeah.
And since I've known her, everything she's done has been successful.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly not surprised. And Curtis, if you could give us the rundown on our sponsors.
Yeah, we're so glad to have these sponsors today. And obviously, Tamiko and Associates is one of our sponsors. And Lavinia and Summers Home of Funerals, the Marion County Public Health Department, as well as Lee Castle and Crawley, Al's Modern Clothing and Shoes, Northside Window and Gutter Cleaning, Fervent Care Christian Academy, and of course, His Place Eatery. And we're going to do a show from there, I guarantee you, Pastor Moore, and you can, just put that in the bank.
Make sure it's the full menu. Just make sure it's the full menu.
I'm going to
Don't
save
be
my
selective
appetite for
about
that.
the menu. We need to know what we can taste everything that's on.
We're going to go
the menu.
live from there.
Yeah.
But Tamiko, if you look at any around town, you'll see her billboards. She's all over our station. She does a great job. She's, when you have a person of that caliber, it just resonates that you just want to do business with her.
Yeah, she's got a great team.
She does.
Yeah.
And those of you who are watching, please be sure to avail yourself to all the different wonderful sponsors that we have. We really appreciate them, and perhaps you want to be a sponsor of this show. You can do that by reaching out to us. The contact information is going to be right there on the screen. Please remember that you can also watch this show when it's over, as well as others that you might have missed. WHMB TV 40 on YouTube, and of course, like us
on Facebook. We're there waiting on you.
Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Can you say good night to my aunt, please?
Good night, Aunt Jeanette.
How about you?
Good night, Aunt Jeanette.
Good night, Aunt Jeanette.
Our number one fan.
Our number one fan, all the way from
She's
Kokomo.
waiting for this.
Yeah.